Well, it's an optimistic moment. I see Carmen Gabrielle in the back. Maybe one of these days she's going to give a report on this wonderful demonstration against the foreclosure that took place yesterday, where they stopped the foreclosure, or the day before, and it went all around the country, and it all came out of Occupy Wall Street. And this is a terrific development. We're looking forward to the occupation and to the shutdown in the West Coast. And also, Mumia Abu Jamal has scored a victory in the struggle because his death penalty has been removed. And now there's an opening to take the struggle to the next step, to get the whole thing thrown out, get him a new trial, or get him free. Hey, Mumia! Tear down the jails. No. Everybody out. Concentration camps for the poor, that's what they are. Okay, I have to get to my subject, the Euro crisis. Just to make sure everybody is on the same page. What's going on tomorrow, there's going to be a big meeting, I think it's in Frankfurt, of all the European Union, including the 17 countries in the Eurozone. Those are the countries that all use the euro as a common currency. And they've been in a struggle for a year trying to put out a crisis or stem a crisis that's been developing and threatening the currency union and threatening the whole economic system in Europe, and a financial crisis. And they've been negotiating, and tomorrow they're supposed to try to come to some kind of resolution of all this. I think that before we get into this, we need to ask ourselves, what does Marxism have to say about this crisis? What do we as Marxists have to contribute to understanding it? And Marxism is a doctrine of development, it's a dialectical materialism, and it studies things in their development. In that connection, it's worthwhile just taking a moment to go back to the way national currency came into existence. You have to have a theory of class development in order to understand it. The currencies on the European continent and in the United States and in Asia came into existence with the bourgeoisie, with the capitalist class. It used to be in ancient times, in feudal times rather, the landlords and the kings and the princes, each one had their own currency that was applied in their own particular territory that they had domain over. But with the rise of the capitalist class that needed to conduct commerce across large territories, they all needed a common currency in which to conduct business. And the beginning of national currency is coincident with the beginning of the rise of the capitalist state and the capitalist class as a dominant force on a given territory. The lira, the mark in Germany, the yen in Japan, the pound in England, the dollar in the United States, they all came into existence as an instrument of the national capitalist class in a particular territory, along with a common language and so on, in order to conduct commerce. But each capitalist class, once they gained supremacy in a particular national territory and created their own capitalist state, which minted its own coin and currency, immediately went to war with each other and tried to use their currency against their capitalist rivals. This is the origin of national currency. It was supposed to set the currency of a particular capitalist class and their state and their territory as against all other currencies. Now I'm going to jump now from there to the post-World War II era, and thinking about currency and how it's used for domination. The U.S. imperialists came to dominate the world after World War II. They were the strongest military power, the strongest economic power, and the strongest political power on earth. And they tried to dominate the globe. And one of the things they did was to make their currency the supreme currency of the world, which replaced gold as the fundamental currency that everybody had to trade in. Oil is still traded in US dollars. Many things are traded in US dollars. And it became an instrument of domination. They had the mint, and they had the mint of world money. Now, in Europe, where there are 27 countries, they have a population of 300 million. And many capitalist classes and many capitalist exploiters are all divided up and easily dominated by U.S. imperialism. So as they got on their feet after World War II and they rebuilt their economy, the German imperialists and the French imperialists, the Belgians, the Dutch, the Italians, they wanted to find a way to turn this 300 million market into a way to contest with U.S. imperialism. And I won't go through all the stages that they went through to get there. But the final stage of it was to create a common currency, the euro, to contend with the dollar. And that meant the European capitalists contending with the U.S. and British, the U.S. Anglo-Saxon imperialists. It was an imperialist rivalry in the form of a currency struggle. And that's the origin of the euro. But remember what I said in the beginning, that each currency is to serve a particular capitalist class in a capitalist state. By creating a common currency, they didn't dissolve the different capitalist classes into one in Europe. They still were there, and they are there today, fighting each other tooth and nail. While they're trying to hold off the U.S., they are trying to kill each other. Because property divides, and the common currency helped them as against the dollar, but it also brings out antagonisms between these different capitalist classes. And those antagonisms were softened until now. They could manage those antagonisms.